So this is the most successful VSL structure that I've ever found, ever used. It is very simple to the point. It is only 11 points, but it can be stretched either it can be a 5 minute or 3 minute miniature VSL, or it can easily be a 60-minute VSL. That's the beautiful thing about structures is that you can expand them however you'd like to. You can make them very long if you'd like to. The VSL itself, I mean, you can even use the structure for advertorials, but for now, we're going to focus on how it's used for VSLs. And I've pulled up an example here of a successful back pain product, e-commerce dropshipping product that's been running for quite a while. It's done 7 figures plus in sales, this one product with this one VSL. So then we're going to go through the structure, how it works, why it works, and then I'm going to have side by side an example of it. All right, so let's begin. So the first is the hook. This is a very powerful hook. Why people with lower back pain are switching to this new inflatable decompression invention. This hook works very well. It implies that there's this whole, it's like a social proof kind of FOMO thing, because it implies that there's a whole movement happening, why people are doing this. It kind of has a news style to it. It's piggybacking on some news headlines that have become ingrained in the collective conscious. So it works very well. And then we go to the lead. And this is where we want to meet the viewer at their current beliefs. This is where you can do some kind of myth busting, where you take a commonly held belief and you explain why it's not true. In this case, let's see how we do it. In this case, it's very powerful because we do it in a way where we're busting these beliefs that they don't want to believe. So for example, if you can tell someone that they're overweight because they're overweight not because they don't exercise, but for a different reason, like metabolism, when they first started to advertise that way, when metabolism became the big problem mechanism, then you can really take a lot of the pressure off of them, and changing their beliefs opens up their mind to accept new ones. So let's see how it's done in this VSL. Most of us are told by our doctors that the cause of lower back pain is lack of stretching, too little exercise, age, or genetics. These doctors are flat out wrong. They're either uninformed or simply lying to you. So this line is a little bit aggressive here. You can definitely tone this down while keeping the message the same. But look what they're doing. Most of us are told that our problem is caused by these things, but it's not true. So this is where we meet them where they're at, what they think the root cause is. They think it's a lack of stretching, too little exercise. And then we say that's not true. And that opens them up to say, well, what is the root cause then? And also, does that mean I'm not at fault for this? And this can also be a great place to say, it's not your fault. If it's something that people are not commonly aware of, then it's tough for them to solve the problem without knowing what's actually causing it. Then we go to the third point, the problem mechanism. This is where we want to explain what is the real root cause, and then we want to agitate the problem a little bit, build a little bit of tension. We don't need to go overboard building a whole nightmare story like a lot of aggressive VSLs will do, but you do want to prompt some emotion, or else they're going to have no reason to keep watching or to take action. So we're going to prompt some emotion, and let's see how that's done here. Researchers at the University of Chicago determined the real root cause of lower back pain. This is a powerful way to frame the problem mechanism, the real root cause, by showing it in a study or tying it to some kind of institution. In this case, since this is a miniature VSL, it's not as important to have precise proof. But if this were a longer VSL, I would definitely go online and find the studies that support this, because there are plenty of them. There are lots of studies that can really be, turned into any problem mechanism, because these days, the way that the scientific stuff works, every problem has a million causes that are clinically proven, right? So you can pick and choose. More specifically, it's a rarely discussed problem called barrel-lumbar pressure. So very quickly, we dive into the problem mechanism. This is very engaging for the viewer. More specifically, it's pressure on your lower spine caused by the weight. So we explain, we give the problem mechanism, and then we explain how it works. And this is a great place to add a visual, a 3D animation showing this problem mechanism, how it actually works. This is a great way to tie the scenes together with the script. And that's something a high quality video editor would do, is tie together the high impact copywriting elements with the scenes to make them land better. This leads to aches and pains. So here we're going to explain. So we got to the problem mechanism, how it works, and now what it does and how it causes the problem. So it pushes down the discs of your spine every minute of every day for years. And then that leads to a functional problem, because this is just kind of theory. This is the problem, this is the jargon for it, but this is how it actually affects your life. It causes aches and pains in your back, and deteriorates into major spinal issues that can cause horrible pain, lack of mobility, and even paralysis. So this is very much a problem, agitate, solution kind of framework. This is the agitate part right here, where we're reminding them of what the problem causes in terms of emotional and physical pain. And this is what gets them to want to solve the problem by highlighting why it's bad. What are the physical and emotional and real world effects of having this problem and dealing with this problem. And then we're going into step number 4, which is we want to compare, or we really want to just highlight the inferior alternative solutions that don't work. So in the case of back pain, they're usually chiropractors, massages, surgery, and painkillers. That's pretty common for most health products and pain relief products. We want to give a little benefit. We want to do a give and take. So we want to give a little bit of a benefit to the existing solution. So to not be so aggressive and to not put up so much skepticism, like we're attacking everything, and it's just kind of a very sales frame that people can often feel subconsciously. Instead, we're going to give a little benefit, but we're going to explain why they don't solve the root cause. And that's really what the problem is. Here's the thing: modern solutions don't solve the problem, or don't solve the real cause of the problem, or don't solve the true reason behind your problem. We really want to emphasize that their problem is because of the problem mechanism, not because of anything else. And it's not just there, that there is a real reason for it that can be solved. So that creates the opportunity for us to later give a product as a solution once the framework has been set, once the correct beliefs, the whole mood of authority and credibility has been set, and the education has changed their beliefs, then you can introduce the product. So this is what we're doing here. We're continuing to change those beliefs. Chiropractors, pain pills, stretching, and back braces. These are the common solutions that people use when they have back pain. Can sometimes work to relieve pain in the short term, but they do nothing to solve the real root cause of back pain. And the problem keeps getting worse and more painful. So this is pretty much explaining that, the reason you haven't been able to solve it, it's implying the reason you haven't solved your pain yet is because you haven't solved the problem mechanism, which is barolumbar pressure in this case. Now we get into step 5. We introduce the solution with an authority figure or a hero story. So we want to introduce the product as a solution created by some kind of hero, a protagonist. And the best way to do this is to have a real spokesperson and to build the product with them. A great example of someone who did that is Gundry, or with Craig Clemens and Golden Hippo, or Miami MD with Peter Kell, who, these people found very strong authority figures and work together with them to build a high quality product. And then you have a fantastic story of a hero, an authority figure who came out with a product, who truly understood the problem mechanism. And that's very compelling in a VSL. So in this case, it's a spinal surgeon who created this product, made a massive breakthrough. He found that most of his patients coming in for surgery didn't need surgery at all. What they needed was a way to solve the root cause of their back problems for good. So again, we're always fixating on the problem mechanism. And he had an idea. He had an idea for a product. He worked with his colleagues. And then we are building credibility. So in this, we're really setting up the product. We're framing the product with credibility, authority figure, a hero story, to put the product and frame it in their mind as a solution in every way, emotionally, physically, functionally. And we do that by having a hero story. So either someone found it who's struggling with the problem. So if you don't have an authority figure with your brand or with your product, you can look at testimonials and you can reach out to people who have bought this product and used your product and use their story as the hero story. People who are struggling with this problem. In this case, it's an authority figure who was dealing with the problem in his own little circle. And then he found that if by solving it in his little world, in this case, the surgeon with his clients, he could solve it for a lot more people, like the millions of people in America. And then we build credibility by talking about all the effort that went into creating the product, the amount of testing, iterations, whatever tests are behind it, the amount of money spent on it, and then all the proof, the studies, the spokesperson, the experts, and then who the inventor is. And by doing all this before we even introduce the product, we really frame it with a lot of believability, so there won't be much skepticism. So it's very smooth. So let's continue. So they explain what they spent on it, the amount of prototypes, the time and the effort and the money spent on a product builds up its perceived value. And battling major pharmaceutical conglomerates to get a patent, they invented the back reliever. It's an inflatable decompression device that solves the root cause of 95% of back pain. And then, okay, so now we're explaining So now we get into so we introduced the product. Now we're going to get into how the product works, which is number 7, the solution mechanism. It's an inflatable decompression device that solves the root cause of 95% of back pain. So here we have a miniature pitch, a miniature product pitch. These are very powerful. Usually they come right after the product is introduced or named, and they give you a short pitch of the solution mechanism, what the product is, how it works, and then we get into the solution mechanism in more detail. The air pockets inside gently inflate, lifting the entire weight of your body off your lower spine, giving your spinal joints, ligaments, and muscles time to recover. And so in this case, the VSL again would be showing a 3D animation of how this solution mechanism works. So we'd be showing it in a visual and vivid, 3D animation of, in this case, the spine being stretched out and decompressed, so that the words really have a lot of punch because they are, not just heard and read, but they're also seen visually of how this whole process works. And so it lifts the weight of your body. So this is kind of, again, like an explanation chain. So what it functionally does is it lifts the weight off your lower spine. And then it goes a little deeper. It gives your spinal joints, time to recover, and it lets the blood flow and the nutrients and the healing get into your spine. And then this allows your body to heal major spinal issues. And now we're gonna dimensionalize it and get specific using a metaphor. Imagine carrying a 100-pound weight pushing down on your lower spine every day. It's very vivid. It's very visceral. Now imagine that weight being lifted off. So we're running them through the visualization exercise of how the problem works and then how it is solved by this product. And we really want to emphasize how it targets the root cause. So we're really talking about how the spine is compressed and crushed and how this reverses that. Now we're getting into the testimonial. So now we've introduced the product. We've given the solution mechanism, how the product works. And now we want to convince them that the product will work for them and that it's the right solution for them. And we do that in this case with a testimonial by showing, we also have some more proof elements here. Been called miraculous by experts in the field. Thousands of customers have been raving about their experiences. And we can really, testimonials work really well for social media ads, for all kinds of advertising. Testimonials are very strong, but especially for social media marketing, like Facebook ads. With these types of VSLs, personal first-person testimonials can be very strong. In this case, it's a third-person testimonial, but still, it is personal. It's a story-based one, and it's relatable. So let's see. Mindy was struggling with terrible back pain from sciatica and degenerative discs in her lower spine. Nothing seemed to soothe her pain for more than a few hours, and she tried everything. So this is pretty relatable to people suffering from the problem. Degenerative discs go hand in hand with sciatica and back pain, and nothing was helping her with her pain. So let's see, she tried everything. So let's just go through also the framework at the same time so we can try and match it up. We're using a long testimonial, story-based. The protagonist is struggling. We're dimensionalizing it. She's worried. She's tried everything. She's considering getting surgery. And then a trusted third party recommends the product. Her doctor recommended she try this new product as a last-ditch effort. He'd heard about it in a medical journal. So a trusted third party recommends the product. And she's skeptical, but she tries it. So she was skeptical, but decided to trust her doctor's recommendation. She had nothing to lose. She received the package. She slipped it on and started inflating it. Immediately when the device inflated, she felt like a massive weight was lifted off of her spine. She felt instant pain relief and could move her back in ways she thought she'd never be able to again. So there's the short-term result. There's what she gets as a direct benefit from using the product in the short term. And now also we want to talk about the long-term healing. After 5 weeks of regular use, her spine was healing itself. Her doctor was amazed. She stopped taking her pills. She got back into tennis. So this is real, this is a dream emotional outcome. What is she getting as a result of this healing? She's getting back into her activities, back to the park with her grandkids. And that's really it. That's all you need for a strong testimonial. This is a pretty good one. Could be maybe a little more specific, and it could have been in the first person, to be more relatable. You could have the real person who the testimonial is about speaking in the first person. But in this case, it's still very strong. So men and women across the country are reporting immediate pain and tension relief, as well as long-term healing after using the back reliever. So more social proof. So it's not just the testimonial. Men and women across the country. This is a good place to add an exact number, like 115,000, however many of the product you've sold across the country are reporting yada, yada. People of all ages and lifestyles are getting, what are they getting as a result? So we cut from the testimonial and we talk about the dream outcome. What are people getting as a result, emotionally and functionally in their day-to-day life of using this product? They're getting more mobility, less pain, and more comfort. These are physical, functional benefits. Getting back to the things they used to love without back pain weighing them down. So more emotional. Words like love and weighing them down, and freedom, enjoying life. These are more emotional benefits. Many of these men and women were skeptical at first. So this is how we address skepticism, by showing it in another person. And this way the viewer can project their own skepticism onto that person. And if that person's skepticism is resolved, then the viewer's skepticism will be resolved as well. So what resolved the skepticism of these example people? They saw the positive reviews, they saw scientific backing, and they saw unbelievable guarantee, and they took a leap of faith. So most of the time that can be enough to address the skepticism of the viewer. In a short VSL like this, with a low ticket product, with a mechanism that makes sense, and it's already kind of meeting their beliefs halfway, because this problem of back pain and spinal compression is kind of in the culture. So it's not so hard to believe. So you don't need a long VSL to get them to believe it. So we're going to give them a very specific guarantee. We're going to reverse the risk. So we address the skepticism. Now we're going to give them a very powerful risk reversal guarantee. Here's a promise no pharma company, chiropractor, or doctor will make you. If you don't feel a massive difference in your back pain after 30 days, we'll gladly give you a prompt and courteous refund, no questions asked. So there's the guarantee. Instead of just saying 30-day money-back guarantee, they explain it, which is much more real. And you could feel that. If you don't feel a difference, you get your money back. That's a great way to reframe your guarantee as a benefit rather than just a given that every product has. And by doing this, we take the risk off of them. They don't have anything to lose. It either works or they get their money back. And now we're going to do the call to action. So you see, it's very simple. It's very short, because this is kind of just the style that works really well for these types of VSLs. Call to action to an advertorial or a sales page. So in this case, this is the call to action. But act quickly, act quickly. This is the direction that we're giving them, because the back reliever has started to go viral. The last time this level of virality happened, all inventory was sold out. So they have to act quickly, and here's the reason for it. It's going viral. And the reason that's important is because the last time it happened, they sold out. And customers who couldn't purchase had to wait 2 months. So this is like lots of reasons why. Act quickly, because we've gone viral, which means we're going to sell out, which means you won't be able to buy for 2 months. And so act now and buy your back reliever for a limited time discount before supplies run out. So the one thing I don't like here is that they don't have a clear direct CTA. I would say something like, so click the learn more button below, or click the shop now button below and buy your back reliever, because this doesn't tell them exactly what to do. Act now, but act on what? Obviously, people know that there's a button below the Facebook ad. They know how these things generally work, but as a rule of thumb, it's much better to be very specific with your call to action and tell them exactly what to do and what the next steps are. So I would say something like, so click the learn more button below and buy your back reliever while you still can, with whatever benefits. So with a 30-day money back guarantee, any kind of discount that's happening, include it all in just one little mini pitch that starts with, so click the learn more, or click whatever, the direct CTA. Make it very clear, very direct, and tell them what comes next. But in general, this framework is very useful for creating scripts like this one. There's lots of VSLs just like this one running on the internet. You just go to Facebook ad library. You can search some keywords like buy now, risk free, other things like that. Get creative, see what the common words are, and you'll start to see all these drop shipping and e-commerce little VSLs. So I'm going to attach this structure to the description below this video so you can check it out and use it to write your own VSLs. It's very powerful. It's straight into the point. It's got some little pointers here, some sub bullets that can explain what each part of the structure is. And once you've used this structure a few times to write some VSLs, you'll get much better at it, how it works, and you'll get much smoother with using it. All right, so thank you very much for watching. Check out the description, and see ya.